Hi, Indy. Thank you so much for coming to BizTalk. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Thanks for having me here.
Thanks for your time and for coming. Let's start talking about yourself before moving to Wedo.
Okay, sure. I have been in tech for 25 years. I was born and raised in the Midwest United States, and I started businesses from a pretty early age. I started with e-commerce and moved into tech very quickly, developing my first websites and getting clients about 25 years ago. From that, I had 3 kids. I raised them in the south of France, and I decided at one point when my husband left me that I wanted to be a rock star. So um, he left me, and I thought, what can I do? Well, I just write songs, you know. So I got a record deal, and I ended up touring in Europe and the UK. And following that was kind of a crisis in the music industry, and a lot of people were downloading music for free. It was the big MP3 crises. And so I built a platform called Currencies, and we built that out to 14.5 million users. And during that time, we built a community where record labels, publishers, independent artists, and record industry professionals could all get together. And it was one of the first music marketplaces. And we paid users by the stream and by the download using advertising revenue model. And in the early days, that was a pretty new thing. The alternatives were the Pirate Bay and Napster, and the big enemies of the music industry. And so I did that for about 5 years, and it was a pretty successful company. And then we had the recession, of course, and the long tail of the advertising to pay that model wasn't working very well because, you know, the recession of 2008 was pretty huge. So we sold on to technology, and I started building another business. It was a beauty business, so it's still going to get today. The brands are called Ultralac and Ultimate Nail Polish. Worked on that. Also sold and distributed a surfaceless speaker. And then I became a freelancer for a while because I wanted to explore this kind of new revolution in freelancing that was going on about 10 years ago. So I started consulting businesses and helping startups, and I'd go in and do ops, or I'd go in and do tech detail and you know, be a company's CTO or be a company's marketing and kind of like a growth hacker, and worked on quite a few projects. And just recently I started Wedo.
Great, that's a great story. So, very much, yeah, being an entrepreneur and getting all these up and downs is the most. I do believe it's the most beautiful part of being an entrepreneur. There's nothing to do. At least for me.
Yeah, I agree. It's the ups and downs, the rise and fall.
This is why not everyone can do this. That's the point. It's a natural selection. So let's start talking about Wedo.
What we do is a social networking and neobanking app for the gig economy. We focus on freelancers, solopreneurs, and new startups. And with Wedo, you can build teams, you can manage your business, and basically keep more money. And one of the problems in the freelance industry or the freelance marketplaces is that a big portion of your income goes to those platforms. In fact, 20% on the first $500 you make on platforms like Fiverr and Upwork. And basically, by being a neobanking system, we can remove some of that pain. Also, we are a integrated platform. So we are 6 apps in one. We do video, audio, invoicing, contracting, banking, and we issue a debit card, and calendar and task management. So we're like a social network in the sense that people can create groups, they can manage their teams, but they can also take instant payments through the platform on a video or audio call, or just simply take payments. And we issue them a debit card. We make money through the banking interchange, through payments as well. And we have a SaaS for an enterprise SaaS and a BI tool SaaS, where we upgrade when people want to pay, and create a matching service between SMEs and the freelancers. So that's how the model works. And basically we save time and money and energy for the freelancers. So freelancers tend to spend about 52 days a year just chasing invoices. They also have a lot of pain because they're using multiple apps just to get the job done for their clients. And also they pay to play on these platforms who take 20% of their income, and they pay for lead gen. So we're removing those obstacles by creating an application that works on Android, iOS, and on web. And yeah, we've rolled it out, we've user tested it, and we deploy like on a full launch since in September this year.
That's great. Thank you. What's the traction up to now?
We've had 37,000, I think, to date. People come to download the app. We've user tested 500 a week. We feel a lot of pull in the market. There's a lot of press interest. And yeah, we've built our team out to almost 30 people. And yeah, it's been a lot of work. We've gotten also banking partners in the United States, Europe, and the UK. So that was a big time-consuming approach. But in terms of traction, yeah, there's quite a big pull from the market, and that's a good thing. We're seeing a big difference in the future of work, how people work, where they work, when they work. The fractional and remote and hybrid workforce is changing rapidly. More and more people are becoming digital nomads. More and more people are becoming freelancers. In fact, by 2027, 52% of the global workforce will be freelance. So it's a huge market. Freelancers contribute $42.9 trillion globally. And the market that we're going after is a $2 trillion market globally. Half of that resides, half that market is in the United States. $1.4 trillion last year were produced by freelancers in the United States. So the freelance gig economy, very huge, very, very big piece of the market, very knowledge-based part of the market. And mostly, you know, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, startups, people who start their businesses, and you know, they're looking to help people. And so our mission as a company is to help more people. And the more you help people, the more they can help more people. So I think that we need to have that upward spiral in the economy. And a lot of it's education, a lot of it is coaching, a lot of it is developers and creative people and innovators who work in the freelance economy. So they're important.
I mean, I do believe freelance economy is not good only for startups. It's very good for any kind of company. But again, startups, for them, is even better because you can lower costs somehow, keeping everything under control and moving when you need, how you need.
Yeah, I think it's really important for the generation of new innovation, and for young people right now, jobs are scarce, but jobs are, you know, there's this great resignation. So there's a lot of argument that there's so many jobs out there, but we're shifting into a knowledge-based economy where education and learning and self-development is going to be more and more important as jobs that we had in the past become more and more automated. And so human beings, I think, are facing this wonderful dilemma of actually maturing, hopefully in this space, and growing into a more vibrant and innovative type of economy where we hopefully will be focusing on new talent in such a way that we'll have great solutions to some of the world's biggest problems if we start moving in that direction.
Absolutely. I mean, where your users are coming now? Where coming from? US mostly?
Yeah, we have a really strong user base in the United States, also in Canada, in the UK, and this primarily because we've been marketing in English, and we've been doing PR in the United States and the UK and Canada as well. So we've touched on those users, so that's the biggest portion. We do have quite a decent sized following also in Europe, but an astounding amount as well in India.
Okay. So. Well, I mean, I suppose there are some applications doing something similar of what you're doing, what's your leverage? Where your advantage, and how do you compete with them?
I think we probably have a first mover advantage in the sense that there hasn't been a social networking platform geared towards the freelance economy that's basically on a banking model. So by being the bank, we can actually remove those big big hikes that the big how do you call them, payments that are taken from the freelancer. It's very heart destroying, soul destroying as a freelancer when at the end of the year you see that 20% of your income has been taken by a platform and you've paid to play to lead gen and they've charged you to put that money into a bank account. And on top of all of it, after all of that, and your expenses that you are charged to use invoicing software and calendar software and Zoom and all the different softwares you use to serve your clients. After all those expenses are taken away,
Not is left.
you're not left with a lot, and that's unfair. And I feel like our unfair advantage is first mover to market as being a global neobanking service that provides a work suite SaaS that operates and a lot like social networks with network effects where you can invite people in seamlessly. And we built it in such a way that your granny could use it. There's like 4 buttons, super easy to navigate. We've spent a ton of time on the UX, the front end, to make it really clean, super easy to use. And yeah, the result has been we've had a lot of traction. So it's exciting.
Oh, I can see. I can talk about, and I can see what you reached so far, and the achievement has been great. So I do believe so. But let me ask you, in terms of the social networking side, your platform, because I perfectly understood how they manage on the back end and why do they do it, and save time and save money. How about what about the social? How do they network between each other, and if an employer can come to find someone?
Yeah. So everyone who joins the platform has a profile, and we operate very similarly to some of the modern audio applications like Twitter Spaces and Clubhouse. The main difference is we allow people to communicate with audio and video. We allow them to share files. They can chat. They can create groups in an open or closed network. They can set up their social spaces to take payments, and they can serve their clients on a one-to-one and take a payment, and it goes directly into their Wedo bank account, and they can deploy that money and pay their expenses through that account. So it's really a seamless service. And in terms of social networking, anyone can join, anyone can set up a call. Anyone can set up a space and share knowledge, share information about their vertical or their market, or maybe they just want to teach people how to do something and take a payment for doing that, or do it for free and be social. And so those files, if you want to show people your work, are stored in your profile, and people can flip through them, similar to, say, any social network. Instagram, you can display your work. So we're kind of a hybrid model. If you think about it, we're a social network, but we operate a lot like Teams, like say Microsoft Teams, but in social space, we operate very similarly to WhatsApp for chat, Instagram for displaying your work on your profile. And yeah, something like maybe PayPal or some of the other banking competitors in terms of being able to easily invoice and automate your invoices and take payments.
That's great. Very brilliant. In terms of adoption, as you market and all is done in English, it's pretty much Anglo-based today. What's going to be tomorrow? Are you going to expand more? For example, Europe is very challenging. Europe is not US, it's not UK. Europe is 20, 30 different languages. So it's something different. So how you, if and how do you address Europe as a continent?
Well, in the first instance, and where we are right now as a company, it's go where you know, right? So for us, that it's easier to launch in the Anglophone countries first. Although we do have a European license and anyone can join, and it's not required to speak English. We are already translating this site into multiple languages, and we are translating the application into multiple languages. But in reality, to move into those markets from a marketing point of view, being able to resonate with the language and explain what we're doing is really important. So as we expand, we'll work on those markets with local marketing agencies who can do that for us and work on that for us. We are a multicultural team, though. We have people of almost every continent on our team. And so that's very important to us to be able to serve people regardless of language and regardless of boundaries of countries and continents. So yeah, we'll expand, and we just have to get past the first hurdle first.
If I am a company, I want to hire some freelancers, can I come to your platform, or is restricted only to freelancers?
No. We serve companies who want to hire the freelancers, but we are opening up not as much as a marketplace model at first. So it's really freelancers bringing on their the companies or the people that they serve at the very beginning. But we have developed an artificial intelligence an ML filtering and matching service that we'll use as we aggregate more users and go forward.
You are an entrepreneur, so you had to have your vision. Otherwise, without vision, you wouldn't even started. What's your vision? Where do you want to see yourself in 3-5 years' time? I don't want to say 10 is too much. Yeah. But in 3 years, 5 years, you should know it. Where would you like to be?
Yeah, I would like to be serving literally millions and millions of people, and I'd like for Wedo to be a household name that is known for having helped the workforce in such a way that we've changed millions of people's lives. As a human being, I'd like to be pretty close to IPO at the 5-year mark, or major acquisition. I would like to myself, one of the motivators why I'm doing this in the first place is for social mobility. So in terms of human impact, the real goal is to be rid of homelessness and give people a platform that they can instantly use anytime, anywhere, any place. And I think that's really powerful. A lot of people who find themselves in hard times and lose their house or end up on the street don't really have anywhere to go to, but they have a talent or a knowledge or a skill or something they can do for someone else. Even if it's just picking up their phone to point and shoot, say walk through a property or help someone do something because they're in that geolocation. That creates mobility. And if you can create a system where people can instantly get up and go to work, and be able to do that in real time so they can take a payment and buy food for the day, buy clothes, and get themselves back up on the social ladder, really, in terms of mobility, that's pretty powerful. And so ultimately, I'd like to create a world where there are no homeless people. Or if there are, they're there by choice, really.
That's a great thing to do. And really thank you for having this kind of thinking and moving that direction. You are fundraising now. How much are you fundraising?
We're raising $3.5 million right now, and that's to go to market and really launch in one territory. And we're focusing right now on the UK as our main territory where we're launching, and we want to move into the US and Europe, of course, in the future. And to build out some of the technical features that we weren't able to do in the first raise. Some of them are pretty in depth that require a little bit more technical infrastructure in order to build this out in the way that we see the future for work and for people. So the AI, the ML, the piece that we have patented globally to take this the next stage forward to ultimately help people.
I mean, in terms of funding, it's okay. How do you scale your business? What exactly your way to bring 3-5 years to an IPO?
Well, in terms of scalability, from a technical infrastructure, we've built our application on microservices. So from a technical point of view, scalability is the easy part. From a marketing point of view, obviously acquiring users who are transacting on the application and building that brand and trust and the marketing deployment is penetrating other social networks, being present in market through your usual suspects, PR, TV, radio, social media, Google, Facebook, everywhere you can be seen, be heard. And in terms of scaling from a human resources point of view, for human capital, our strategy is to attract the top talent, because then you can build an attractive culture. Top talent love working together, and you create a vibe within your organization that generally spreads. So our strategy is to hire the best of talent, and then create a culture where people really love what they do, and finding that lane, that fit for each human being who works for the company. We're a people first company, and we're doing this for people, even though we're a tech company. So I think, we've had a lot of great traction attracting amazing people. So we've been really, really, really blessed by that.
That's great. I mean, if you can give 20 seconds, 30 seconds of message to investor, why they should invest in Indie and Wedo, what do you like to say? I mean, a very few words to convince that actually you're the right person to bet on.
We have the team. We founded this company. It was just me and a couple people. David Jakes, the founding CFO of PayPal and the former treasurer of Silicon Valley Bank, and myself, Dr. Engineer Johannes Drückherr, who is our CISO, our cybersecurity expert. We have an extraordinary marketing team who are absolutely brilliant. I've worked with my CTO for several years. He delivers and he deploys, and he's amazing. I think that for any investor, it's timing too, because the time is really now. We've been watching this market grow. We know what's happening in it. We know that this is the future of work. So it's team, it's timing, it's traction, it's grit that we don't give up. And I think, I think we're probably, with this particular team, if I asked them to build a rocket ship to go to Mars or to go to Jupiter, they could do it. And I think that means something, because they have the ability to move fast, to pivot if they need to really like dig in. We got gritty people who are extraordinary. So that's a great reason to invest, but also return on investment. This is a highly scalable business in a market that's huge, and we have every potential to garner that piece of our market within the next few years. And we're already gaining traction in terms of revenue and doubling over even pre-launch, even though, we haven't officially launched yet, we're already generating revenue. So it's a good opportunity, great opportunity. And this is a chance to really make an impact in the world. And I think that's primordial, really.
I have two more topics. Unfortunately, we don't have so much time, but one is more for the future. One is more for investors today. Where do you see them to exit? You would never want, because as you said already, you want to IPO. So I have the same idea. I would like to
Yeah.
bring EquityMatch.co to IPO. And when they ask me how I should exit, I say, you will exit. I won't exit. I want to buy others. I don't want to exit anywhere. So,
But that always depends on the multiple for the investor, but 3 to 5 years, I think within 3 years, we'll probably be doing a secondary, probably post Series C around the D level going into IPO. And, our goal is to create very, very hefty and interesting multiples for the investors, but that also gives us the power in market to really make an impact by expanding and growing, generating revenue and growing, exponentially is kind of a funny word to say, but by doing that, that puts the wind under our sails in terms of actually making the impact that we dream of, the mission that we came together to do a reality, and to create a social change and be that kind of system, because governments are letting us down. They're not keeping people off the street. In fact, there isn't much, especially in countries like the United States, social mobility. Once you've been kicked, you stay down for a while. And I think that's unfair. It's fundamental for us as human beings to be able to bounce back and to grow a business and learn. And I think that's really important.
Let me ask you, I'm going to close with this one. Where do you see the work going in in the year to come? Let's say 5-10 years. There are so many projections. We say people are going back to office. Many say actually it's going to be 50-50, 30-70, whatever it is. Where do you see people going to work?
I see us more and more remote, but more and more social through that remote access. I think within 10 years, we could very well be in holographic meetings. In order to create a more sustainable world, we're not going to be transitory as much. So traveling for long hours to go to meetings, or even traveling for more than an hour to work, won't be necessary. And I think that technology is going to bring people into our spaces through more virtual 3D and holographic interactions, where we can read each other's body language and really feel the emotion of the other person much better than a 2D meeting or a Zoom meeting. I think that we will be a hybrid workforce. I think that for many industries, going fully remote is a great option. I think humans will have to become much better at managing their workforce through OKRs and KPIs and really tracking, where time is not as important as actual deliveries. And I think that, the idea, the last century idea of working by the hour will fall completely to the wayside for many, many industries. And I think that we're going to have a more happy workforce. I think happier people who have freedom and flexibility. We're going to be focusing a lot more on skills than we are on filling roles per se. Skill gaps is really going to be a big part of efficiency in our workforce and in the bottom line of how we're recruiting going forward. And I think that it's impossible for us to move otherwise. And more automation is going to create more jobs in a lot of areas that will be new in the future. We're moving towards more of a knowledge base and service society in any case. So it's going to be really interesting, but I think we're going to have healthier, happier people who are living and working where they want, when they want, how they want, as long as they're meeting the goals of the company. And teams are going to be way more important than they have been in the past.
Indeed. Thank you so much for coming to BizTalk. It's been a very, very great pleasure for me having you. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much.